Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the west side of the map, playing in red, we've got Louis MT, playing as the Jin Dynasty. And up against him, on the east side of the map in blue, we've got Valdemar playing as the Ottomans. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. As always, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon or good evening. And it's an absolute pleasure, because we've got the Jin Dynasty today, a new civilization to Age of Empires 4. Lots of new mechanics as well, which is always exciting, because, you know, it's a variant faction, I guess, in a way, based off the original civilization of the Chinese. So you might be worrying, what can possibly change? Well, there's actually a lot. First of all, you've got this huntable source, a reindeer. It's a nice bit of food there, extra 400 food. And then you've got the mounted villagers. Pretty exciting because they gather incredibly fast, but they're pretty expensive, and you can only have up to, I believe, 20 of them. There is an upgrade that can mean that you get an extra 3 of them, but we don't, that's later on in the game. Ultimately, it's definitely a new dynamic to how the civilizations will play out. What I think the big difference is that it's got a fast movement speed. So we have other civilizations that have faster gather rating of villagers, more expensive villages as well, like, with the Order of the Dragon. But the big deal for me is how fast this unit really is. A movement speed of 1.42, compared to a scout, 1.62. So generally, I mean, you can raid these units, but they can run. They can run out of there, which is pretty cool. Now, we've also got some upgrades here. Mohair Ancestry increases the rate of gather rate of meat by 20%. Pretty big difference, actually, when you consider the survival techniques. For, well, most other civilizations is 15%. So you kind of got a double whammy here. You got the 20% gather rate of the meat, and then you've got the mounted villager that already gathers resources 120% faster. Now on the other side of things, we've got the Ottomans, and does have an early military school, so going to get some spearmen out nice and early in the Dark Age. Now I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely legends. Thank you. Special shout out, of course, to the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers. Go the extra mile. Thanks a lot. I know it's been a bit quiet on the channel recently. I've been a bit unwell, kind of busy with in real life stuff. Stuff gets busy, life gets busy. And I've been working on a couple of other YouTube projects as well. And, Age of Empires 4 has always been a bit of a passion project for me, but I don't know if the scene's big enough to really support that many content creators, so it's been a bit tricky. To get sort of progression there on that side of things. But yeah, I've got another channel as well. Dawn of War Central is doing pretty well, looking at news releases about the new game, Dawn of War 4. I'm excited for that. Obviously, it's part of the Warhammer franchise, and that's exciting as it is. In fact, I've not really been into Warhammer that much up until about 2 years ago, and I kind of got excited by it, especially because of the number of games coming out, like Space Marine 2, Space Marine 3 is in development, Dawn of War 4. So it's exciting times for sure, but yeah, I'm glad to be back with Age of Empires 4, especially considering the new DLC. It's going to be exciting, to say the least. Interesting choice here, actually. Flower Pagoda. Now, of course, you can get 2 landmarks with any age up, and the options for the, I was about to say Jushi Legacy, but the Jin Dynasty. You got the Flower Pagoda, which increases the gather rate, but also, by the way, you can deploy the flowers on the ground and allows the units to attack faster. We've also got Great Pasture, which acts as a war stable, and Grassland. Now, war stable, essentially it's just a stable, but Grasslands is an interesting mechanic. So when you place down landmarks, you actually get grassland posts, on top of which you can build grasslands. When you do that, you can actually use the horses that spawn from them and make cheaper cavalry. What's really curious is that only one villager building the Flower Pagoda. Now, of course, the villagers do build faster with the mounted villager, so that certainly does help, but it looks like it's going to be a Castle Age build here from Louis, because you've got plenty of villages on gold, plenty of food gathered from the deer. Now, of course, the Ottomans are going to look to try and punish that. They've got a mean feudal age, though. 2 spearmen here, going to poke and prod before too long, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a stable for Sipahi. That's exactly what's happening. Sipahi, arguably one of the best units in the feudal age in Age of Empires 4. Of course, you've got some stronger ones, like the Knight and whatnot, but Sipahi, they do so well at raiding, which is, I think, something that Valdemar will look to try and do today, because if he picks off a couple of these mounted villagers, then these are high-prized possessions for the Jin Dynasty. You will not want to lose them. Now, the Vizier point's just about to come on in. I wonder what he's going to go for. We'll see. Maybe he might go for the Imams. Could be pretty helpful to put some pressure and then heal on up. We'll see in just a moment. Either way, feudal age comes in now for Louis. And I wonder if he's going to put an outpost or anything like that here on the goal. Doesn't look like it. A couple of palisade walls here could be nice just to block the entry route here for the Ottomans. Because I suspect those Sipahi coming out soon. Okay, double military school. Yeah, they're toggled onto Sipahi as well, so you see clear telegraphing of going for cavalry units, understandably so. Wants the map control, and he'll be able to establish that. The thing for the Jin Dynasty at this point, now that it's going to be on the castle age soon, what landmark does it go for? It's got two options. One is a monastery option. Another one is like a more of a defensive one. So you've got the Dragon Pavilion, more of a defensive one. It gives the town centres and, yeah, it gives all the town centres a Menjan Muke emplacement. Essentially, there are units that spawn from the town centres or your keeps, and they fight off enemies when they get in the range. So it's pretty nice defensive landmark here. Looks like he's going to do that. Considering he's up against the Ottomans, they're typically aggressive in the feudal age, so it's going to look to protect his economy. The other option would have been a monastery, which is in many ways almost similar to like the Regent's Cathedral, but seemingly a lot better. It's got relics that gather 300% more gold, but also from farms, extra gather rate of food. I mean, this looks like a really, really strong landmark, I gotta say. In some civilization matchups, where their feudal age isn't too heavy from the opponent, I could see a lot of people going for this other landmark, snagging up those relics, and just having a good old time with it. It looks like it did go for the Imam Vizier point in the end. Two Imams spawned, keeping at home to heal on up the units that might get a bit weak. Barracks placed, looking to get some spearmen out. But not really rushing the castle age either, actually. Kind of curious decision here. Like, I mean, each mounted villager does produce, work or construct 75% faster. So it's a decent chunk of improvement. So, I mean, to be fair, two villages is not too bad. But you can see the unit numbers really started to escalate, 13 to 2. Bear in mind, a lot of these are for free coming out of the military school. Does he dive this? I think he probably does, right? Goes for the woodline maybe. There are a couple of spearmen out. He does deny the age up for a little bit, at least delays it. Now, there is the flower, by the way. Which is kind of cool. You'll see here, it does actually increase the... oh, they got out. You have to be in the range of the flower, though. So the range is pretty small. But it does increase the... wait, where is it? Let's go for military unit. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Attacks 25% faster. Not too shabby. But this is good. This is buying time for Valdemar. Maybe thinking about getting to the castle age himself after a while. But nope, just going to commit. Get some more units. Build up a bit of a lead in units and then work from there. Yeah, there's great usage of the Imams to heal on up. Cause a bit of delay tactics. Don't really lose a unit and you're fine. You can replace the health on those guys. It's going to place a monastery. It's going to be difficult to get a lot of these relics, I got to say, because there's just so many units here for Valdemar. Now, granted, they are kind of all in one spot. So maybe Louis might be able to sneak around the sides and pick up a relic or two. There's the grassland post, by the way. So landmarks do allow a couple of those to pop up. Trying to get the walls up. And you won't manage it, actually. Just kind of a bit too many units here for Valdemar. He's also got the archery range for the archers to try and snipe down the spearmen. I like the play into the man-at-arms, though. That's probably a way he can defend himself. Although, the great thing about Sipahi is that they do have the extra range of attack. The 1.25 range means that they can really surround enemy units, and you know, they don't have to get right close to them. Like a little bit of a tile back, and they can still poke and prod. So the surface area to attack with the Sipahi is really strong, and Valdemar doing a great job of pulling those weak units and healing them up, and the healing rate is looking pretty solid. He's committed to a fourth, well, effectively a fourth stable. He's got 2 military schools already on Sipahi, and there's 2 stables independent from that as well. That's where it becomes a bit tricky for the Jin Dynasty because of courtesy of how many units Valdemar has. Well, Louis can't really venture out on the far food resources. The deer untaken, the boar untaken. Whereas Valdemar, instead, going for the deer camp, not having to place the farms, not having to spend all that precious wood. And what that allows is pumping of more units. This could become very, very tricky. Very, very fast for the Jin Dynasty. Bear in mind, by the way, he has actually added in a tributary state. You might be wondering what that is. And essentially, from the town centre for the Jin Dynasty, you can actually train an emissary. And the emissary has two cool abilities. One ability being such that you can go to a trade post and create a tributary state. And what happens then, you start to spawn farms for free. You start to get tributary peasants for free. And they start to gather food for you. So I guess in a way, it's not terrible that it can't get on the map. You do get some, bit of food that way, which is quite nice. Makes the transition to food and farms a little bit easier. Valdemar, though, keeping his enemy back at home means that's going to be tough for the Jin Dynasty to get relics. Oh, there we go. There's the Manjan Muke defenders coming out from the town centre. They'll fight, but they've got a leash, right? So you can't really force the fight. Now, I don't believe you can't actually control these, by the way. So it's all automatic. So Valdemar doesn't really have to engage until he wants to. That's probably what he's going to do. In some ways, it's kind of a weird situation for Louis because he's kind of turtled in here, and he's finding it difficult to break out. There will come a point, though, when you've got enough man-at-arms, you feel confident to do so, but the Mehmed Imperial Armory coming out for the Ottomans, Castle Age coming on in, means that Valdemar and his feudal age army will be upgraded before too long, and I don't think he's going to take a fight, really. Just poking and prodding, keeping Louis at home, really, and that's what he wants to do. And just bear in mind, I don't think he's actually grabbed any of the relics. He might be moving out now. I mean, the Sapai should be able to get out there without any issues. He might be able to pick up one, but, Valdemar is not too far off the castle age himself, and he's going to pick them up with the imams already stationed on the field. Kind of curious play, right? It's interesting thinking about the strategy involved here because, I mean, Louis doesn't exactly have an economic advantage here massively. I mean, well, he does have faster gathering rate of villagers, but Valdemar's free units helping him gain that map control, and the whole idea for Louis to get to the castle age was probably to pick up those relics, of which he's only just got one in his clutches so far. And instantaneously picks up the relics here, Valdemar, 2 of them. He's way ahead in that regard. It's constant poking and prodding. It's always a threat. It forces Louis to always keep units at home. Doesn't really have any. It doesn't actually have any at the moment. So this could be problematic. Does have to garrison and idle his economy just a little bit. The forward position, Man-at-Arms going to push on forward. This really becomes a bit kind of, well, dodgy for Valdemar because he's got to find a way to deal with this Man-at-Arms mass. Crossbows surely got to be the answer. There they are. They are coming out. Going to buy some time with the WOLOLOs. That's going to be effective, actually. That buys enough time for a couple more crossbows to pop out. That's all he needs. And he's going to trade well. Oh, this is going to be great for Valdemar for sure. He's got a lot of the mounted villagers trapped on in. Perfect pick off. The man-at-arms being in the forward position meant that could happen. Still a good number of these man-at-arms there. It doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades, but they've still got good armor, of course. And we'll get palisade walls up. WOLOLO coming on up again to just buy time. Yeah, it feels like he's bought enough time. There's a handful of crossbows, decent amount, and I wonder whether the Sapahi will take a fight. They're taking a fight here. Will they come back to clear this up or not? That's the big question. And what is kind of curious is that relic situation for Louis is only at 1. Yeah, this is a fight that I think now Valdemar be happy to take. And Louis is pegged back at home. The Ottomans so aggressive. They're so good at doing this. Gonna get the second Imperial Council up. Oh, he's already got the second one. He's got the military campus. So gets yet another military school. I love the new user interface as well. New cap trade is looking really, really good. I love the fact you can check on sheep. Lots more stuff added in. There's the relic count. Now, Louis is picking 2 more relics up though, which would be helpful for him. No doubt about it. Managed to sneak those in. Again, a bit of a raid. Look how fast the mounted villagers run though. They're so good at that. Looks like Valdemar eyeing up a bit more of a later game state. Looking to wall up on the right side. They are easy walls after all. Looking to get some of the sacred sites as well, just to add in a bit more gold income for him. And yeah, we're seeing this a lot actually with the Jin Dynasty. There's a position here where he's probably going to want to add town centers. He is on stone, so probably looking to do that. Because, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, the numbers are a bit deceiving, obviously, with the villager count, but they take so long to train, these guys. It makes you wonder, really, is it really that good? Right, Sapai just rotating around the right side. There's the grassland horses, by the way. Oh, I don't know about engaging in that. One thing to talk about, by the way, you kind of really do want the grasslands, because when you get the horses, each horse in a grassland grants +2 maximum health to all melee cavalry and +1 to all ranged cavalry. So you want to get as many of these as you can. Now, the crazy kind of thing here is that Valdemar has not had to invest in a single farm, because he's obviously got all the full map control, taking all the deer. Now, granted, he can't take the boar, because, of course, the Ottomans adhering to the Islamic tradition means they can't take the boar meat. It's not permissible for them, so they go for the deer instead. Farming transition is well underway for Louis. It's kind of a weird situation, right? Because he's had to stay at home, but he's also had a hard transition to farms, means less units. Can't push out. Oh, that's not a fight that Valdemar really wants to take. He backs away for now, understandably so, because that's a lot of spearmen. By the way, the spearmen have a really cool upgrade. We didn't actually see it in the barracks here. I think he's already researched it. But they actually have this gunpowder damage they can do. Is he getting it now, actually? Yeah, there we go. There it is. Storm Lancers. Spearmen are equipped with Storm Lancers, gaining an explosive ranged attack on cooldown. Kind of reminds you of the Donso in some ways, of the Malians. The Donsos, they throw their spears. And then again, you know, they're a melee unit, but they've got a bit of ranged attack. And similar here with the veteran spearmen of the Jin Dynasty. Except this time it's gunpowder. So they should do pretty well against the Sipahi, you'd have thought. I wonder how Valdemar's going to deal with this. Now, one way to deal with it is with the Mehmed Imperial Armory on Springalds. Yeah, he is on Springalds. Probably a good idea, because these dudes are pretty good at dealing with infantry. Going up against spearmen, it's going to be great for them. There's the second town centre, looking to scale the economy. Then again, that kind of forces him to stay at home, and what that allows Valdemar to do is to activate a win condition of the sacred sites. There we go. All activated, 10 minutes on the timer. Now Louis has got 10 minutes to deal with the army that's coming out for Valdemar. Also to deal with the sacred sites. You just saw the bit of a shooting across the map with these spears. These Manjan Muke defenders can't be controlled, so yeah, I do end up extending, but coming back home to safety. Big problem here for Louis as well is where does he get gold from? Like, he has been camping so hard, he's not been able to get out on the map, but there comes a point where he needs to get critical mass so he can move out. Probably here's probably the best bet, but I don't know if Valdemar's going to let it happen, really. Still got a bit of gold back at home, I believe. Yeah, but not much. Not much at all. There's one on the right side as well. Could be an option for him. But look at the unit numbers here. Holy smokes. 74 military units. And the biggest, scariest thing, I think, is the Springalds. There are only 4 of them, but that's going to escalate. And they're free, don't forget. Yeah, surprisingly, he doesn't actually have the Relics Garrison inside yet. It's going to want to get a monastery or 2 for sure. Oh, but there's so many crossbows. So many crossbows. I wonder if he's actually transitioned to... no, he's still actually got the military schools on Sabai. Kind of crazy, actually. How has he managed to get that number of crossbows? It's wild. What's even wilder is this town centre is going to go down in a blink of an eye. I mean, yeah, the Manjan Muke defenders, they're small in number, right? So they're okay in, like, the early castle age. But in game states like this, yeah, they're not going to do too much for you. Now, Louis stuck on the 1 town centre now because of that. Oh, 2 town centre, rather. I wouldn't be surprised to see Valdemar go for that spot as well next. Sacred victory approaching. There are a couple of farms now for Valdemar, so slowly adding in the other economy. But he's going to the Imperial Age. You can see it in the resources. He's banking up, and he's staying home as well. He's not taking any risks with this army. He wants full Imperial Age army. And I gotta say, an Imperial Age Ottomans is always very, very scary. It does give a bit of an opportunity, though, for Louis to get onto gold. But he's really struggling on that front. He's just, the economy's just not there. So they're struggling. Bear in mind as well, probably difficult to always remember about the flower garden. He's going to want to use that. Yeah, the threat of the Sabahi is always very real. Lots of units here for Louis. So Valdemar can't really ever push this right now, but what he's achieving with this is just forcing Louis to stay at home. Gets that timer down. Be careful not to be blocked in here. Not taking the bait. Taking one Lancer just to maybe raid a little bit, find some information, find out what's going on. It will be the Istanbul Observatory, by the way, for the Ottomans. There we go. Acts as University, of course. Does lose the Lancer. Backs away with the Sapahi. And the elite upgrade for the Sapahi just about to come on in. The issue for Louis here, he's got to get on gold. He's got to get there fast. And he's going to go there with the mounted villagers. But without a shadow of a doubt, Ottoman's looking in a good position. He's got the timing advantage here with the upgrades going to be coming in soon. We'll lose a couple of horsemen for free. This is a bit of a death ball army. Now, Louis does have a lot of military, I gotta say. But don't forget, these are Castle Age units. And very soon, is going to be up against an Imperial Age army. Yeah, food is not too much of a problem here for Louis, actually. It's mostly the gold. I think these farms really help out. I was kind of curious as well, like, it depends on your map generation, right? If you've got a trade post like this near your town centre, you're kind of laughing. Like, you got an easy farming transition. But if not, then you're going to struggle, like if the outpost or the trade posts were like in the north and south corner. It's a very different game. Love the additions of the palisade walls to just shore things up a little bit. Now we've got the elite Sapahi. Look how good they look. It's going to be the Great Wall Bastion going on the right side. It's a bit of an awkward position. It will protect the gold, which he needs to do, but he needs to slowly get on the map. The two big gold vein tiles, quite far out of his reach, I gotta say. Sapahi diving on the left side. Oh, does he see this though? Does Valdemar see that? I mean, if he sees it, that's huge. He does. He sees it. That is massive. Building it near the sacred site might be his undoing. He's got the vision of it. Now what that means is he can pressure it. This could be tricky for Louis to hold. I don't know if he's got enough. He's got the siege engines as well, upgraded with the vizier point. It's such a good upgrade. Siege crews. The attack speed, 25%. This is not looking too good here for Louis. He's going to lose a lot. We'll see if he can hold the Sapahi though. There's such good numbers on the left side. Oh, he's got the Emissary. This is huge. Now the Emissary has two abilities. One of them being a bribe. He's going to use the bribe. Going to try and bribe Valdemar's units. And he does get a chunk of them. Yeah, a good few of them, but it's not looking enough. Holy smoke, the Sabai, there's way too many of them. Now the... Oh, this is not good. Yeah, the Great Wall Bastion goes up, but at what cost? Huge cost, because he lost so many villagers. And Valdemar, I think at this point, he just torches this down. That was a big moment in this match. He was a bit too greedy with the placement of the landmark, and he's been punished. He's paid the price. He tried a bit of a cheeky bribe with the Emissary, but unfortunately the bribe wasn't something that Valdemar took. And there it is, GG gets called. A nice mechanic though, on showcase there with the Emissary. Bit of a crazy game, but at the end, the Ottomans looking a bit too powerful. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. More importantly, if you'd like to see a breakdown of the Jin Dynasty, I'll leave an end card on your screen right now, and it will tell you all you need to know about the civilization. Anyway, take care, and see you next time.